I'm Piper, Marketing and Selections Coordinator at RG Cowan Design Build. Before we head into the Glade Park Scenic Oasis, let's talk a little bit about the exterior of the home. The exterior of this home is comprised of multiple different materials, and so today I have the General Manager, Ryan Cowan, here to talk about these different things.
Hi, thanks Piper. Hello. What do you want to know?
Yeah, so right behind you, you have the stucco. It is in the color of desert beige. Can you talk a little bit about why the stucco is a great option for builders?
So all the exteriors of our homes, we really strive for durable materials. I think that's like kind of number one for us, is like what's going to last well in our climate. It's a little bit tough in our very dry, hot climate to get things to last. Stucco is a great material for our climate. It's really durable. It lasts a long time. And also, I guess the other benefit of stucco is the cost per square foot. So when we're developing projects, we're always thinking about budgets. And so there's a lot of beautiful materials that last a really long time, but some of them are very expensive. So we try to mix our materials a little bit. Stucco is a good one to do large surface areas to get a nice even surface that is very durable for a long time for a decent price.
In the entry right here, we've got this corrugated steel. Can you talk about what this is and why it's a good option?
So again, durability is big for us. This product is a cold rolled steel. It's actually sold to us by a local supplier here, Reclam Metals out of Montrose. I believe they roll their own corrugated metal here on the western slope. So this shape, all of that metal comes in a flat stock like this, is run through rollers to get this corrugation. What we love about it is once this product is installed, it's at least a 30-year product. It's very durable, lasts a really long time.
And what is the process that the steel goes through to give it this, like the color?
Okay, this is kind of a natural patina, an oxidation of the metal. So it's essentially rusting, but you could think of rusting as a negative thing, but in our climate, it's actually a positive. If you're in a coastal climate with a lot of salt in the air, metal like this isn't going to last very long. Like any raw steel is just going to disintegrate with oxidation of the metal, kind of always eating away at it. But our climate's really dry, and so as you get moisture and oxygen reacting with this cold rolled steel, it'll make like a thin layer of rust over the top that kind of protects the metal underneath, which helps it last a really long time, but it also is what makes it really unique and beautiful. You get all these different colors that come through, deep reds, even black streaks, lots of browns. And so it makes a nice, like really rustic kind of feel to it when we're done.
Yeah, and it sounds like it makes it very individualized for like project.
Yeah.
No two are all the same.
No two pieces of metal will rust the same.
And then over here on the other side of this wall, we have some tongue and groove.
So the tongue and groove on this wall, it is a natural wood product, and like I said, we don't use a lot of wood on the exteriors of our homes because of durability, but we do use it occasionally just for the feel and softness and warmth of wood and the beauty of wood. But we try to do it in protected areas. So on this house, everything that's on the exterior side is a more durable material. Inside of this protected overhang area, we have wood tongue and groove panels on the wall and the ceiling.
So you mentioned this overhang. Can you explain why it's so large for like this patio?
So that was kind of part of our passive design strategy for the home. We wanted to have like a nice wall of windows to really help bring the outside inside. And you'll kind of see a little bit more about that when we do go inside of how we did that. But we don't want to get the sun and the heat, so you want to protect those areas from the sun. So this is actually really cool right now that the sun is out. You can see the shadow line coming down almost to the bottom of the door. So here we are in late August, and you can see how there's not much direct sunlight going actually into the home. And that was one of the strategies here, was to create this deep eave. It's a little bit protected. In the winter, when the sun gets low, you would see that line cutting across the wall much higher. and that sun would extend back deeply into the living area.
And now we are going to go around to the front of the home to talk about the garage door. Right now we're standing in front of the CHI plank garage door in the color cedar. Ryan, can you kind of walk us through why we went with this instead of a traditional garage door?
Well, yeah. Again, exterior of our homes, we want to be really durable, but we actually wanted to bring in that kind of warmth and that rustic feel of the project. So we've used this door in a couple of different projects, and it seems to be a really durable, but it's a fiberglass door, but it looks a lot like wood. So it mimics the tongue and groove that we have in other parts of the project, but this faces west, so this would be really exposed side of the house, and if it was a natural cedar garage door, it would not last very long. So all about durability for us.
When people are arriving to the home or driving by on the road, this is like what they see, and so it's kind of warm, welcoming, and inviting. And like Ryan noted, it matches the tongue and groove that is above us in the upper loft. Let's head on up to the upper loft to take a closer look. We're standing here on the upper deck, and we're just going to talk a little bit more about some of the materials on the exterior of the home. As you can see above and behind Ryan and I, you've got the tongue and groove, and you can really see how it is shaded from the sun, like Ryan was explaining down below. Is there anything else you'd like to add to that?
Like I said, we try to be really careful with durability on materials so that they last, and we really wanted the warmth of this material inside this space, and so we used it just on the walls that we could really protect from the sun to keep it from drying out and having shortening its life. The rest of the walls of the loft we used stucco, where it was going to get a little more direct sunlight.
Can you explain what the point of the addition of this little metal accent piece was?
We love this idea of connecting the inside to the outside. And so when you're up on this deck and we have this big wall protecting us from the elements, creating a really cool space to hang out, but also gives you like a break in it to kind of see through and get these glimpses of the views off to the valley below.
Above us are these metal rods that are called turnbuckles. Can you explain what they are and what their function is in this home?
So these structurally, these are considered collar ties. And really what it is, you can see there's a knife blade that's connected, bolted to the top of our exterior wall. There's a structural member that you can't see that's inside the roof cavity that connects to, and it connects to a ridge beam. And that does the same thing down the other side. And what you're basically doing is creating that triangle. So basic engineering concepts, the strongest shape is a triangle. And in this case, we wanted to have vaulted ceilings throughout, and we didn't want to have giant ridge beams to try to figure out how to pick up loads. So the simplest way to do that is to tie this wall to the wall on the far side. So that's what this rod is doing. Essentially, it's connecting this wall to the wall on the other side. Now we do have these center struts that come down from the ridge, but all they actually do is keep the rod from sagging. Steel is very flexible, so a rod that was 25 feet long would droop even under tension. So having these center struts just keeps everything straight.
Over here, we've got this metal. Can you just tell me a little bit about this?
On all of the exterior, again, durability being very important to us. We don't have, back, years and years ago, a lot of houses had wood sidings. Everything that was fascia related, wall cap related, everything we bent custom metal to try to protect it. So this is all from our roofing supplier. They make pre-colored metals that we can have fabricated into different shapes and use those to protect all of our openings. So all of these caps, all of our eaves, all of our wall caps, we're all custom bent metal in our shops.
So we've talked quite a bit about what you can see on the exterior of the home. So we're going to take a moment to talk about what's happening like behind the scenes, in the walls, like under the floor. So Ryan, you're a really big building science geek. Can you kind of go down a rabbit hole with me explaining kind of the building science that went behind building this home?
Sure. We always start at the ground. So there's several things we do even in the foundation stage. We use an ICF product, which is an insulated concrete board. for our foundation walls. So that gives us about an R23 on our foundation walls. In addition to that, we always put radon systems in our home to help control any gases coming out of the ground, naturally occurring radon gases. And then we use an insulation in our crawl spaces so that becomes an insulated conditioned space and a really high quality radon plastic over that. So starting from the ground, we create a well-insulated, well-encapsulated crawl space from the get-go. As we start framing, a big part of our framing process relates to air sealing. We're always aiming for really, really tight numbers on our air infiltration, which we test once at the end of framing and once at the end of construction. And for this home, that started with we sealed our sill plates to the foundation. We sealed all of our framing down to our sill plates. We used a Zip R3 on the exterior of this home, which gives us a really tight air seal. And a Zip R3 is essentially a product that's an OSB with your weather barrier built in, really good taping system that allows you to air seal and create your weather barrier all in one. This home was a monopoly framed home, which means that we didn't build any eaves. When we built the home, we used a Stco product, joint and gap filler, to air seal the joints from our wall sheathing to our roof sheathing, and all the gaps in our roof sheathing were air sealed with that product. So all of that to say that in the end, we ended up with a very, very tight home. We had I think our air and exchange rate at blower door test was 0.69 air changes at 50 pascals, which is pretty good for the complexity of the home. And then of course that leads to other things. As we get into building science, the tighter you build, the more you have to worry about air ventilation systems and all that. So we have an ERV built into the home that's a continuous ventilation system to provide good air quality to everyone living in the home.
Thank you, Ryan, for explaining the exterior elements and a little bit about the building science behind the Glade Park Scenic Oasis. Stick around for the next video to see what the inside of the home looks like.